Down at the Kennedy Space Center, this view of runway 15, the northwest to southeast approach, that Atlantis will be touching down on just 25 minutes from now. All preparations are in order at the landing site with the convoy teams in place, ready to attend to Atlantis and its crew of 4 following wheel stop. As Atlantis approaches the coast of Central America, currently 46 miles in altitude, range to touchdown 3,000 miles. Again, a view of the crowds outside Building 1 here at the Johnson Space Center, who are making the most of this memorable occasion, participating in a moment in history and the completion of the Space Shuttle program. Flight controllers here in the Space Shuttle Flight Control Room in the final minutes of shuttle operations for this room that first saw activity on the STS-70 mission in July of 1995. Atlantis approaching the coast of Central America, traveling 22 times the speed of sound, its nose pointed 40 degrees up in its angle of attack. Range to touchdown 2,300 statute miles, time to touchdown 21.5 minutes. 20 minutes until touchdown. Atlantis now less than 2,000 miles from its landing site, 43 miles in altitude, dissipating energy and inertia built up through its activities in orbit. Its wings pointed almost directly to the Earth through a series of banking maneuvers. Maneuvering also through a series of pre-programmed S-shaped curves, first to the left, then to the right, reducing its speed as it approaches the Florida coastline. First, it will traverse over Central America, then to the east of the Yucatan Peninsula. Role reversals are coming up for the shuttle.
We're doing fantastic. How about you?
We're doing fantastic. But I wish we could share everybody with everybody. This really cool. It's just amazing outside.
Yeah, we were just talking about imagining it ourselves.
That was easy for you to say.
Enjoying the ride home, Commander Chris Ferguson describing what amounts to the plasma buildup around Atlantis as it descends through the atmosphere about to cross the coast of Central America. Capcom Barry Wilmore is the voice you're hearing here in Mission Control, talking directly to Atlantis' astronauts 18 minutes from touchdown. Atlantis now 41 miles in altitude, range to touchdown 1,400 statute miles. The report from the space station flight control room is that NASA flight engineer Mike Fossum was in the cupola at the time that Atlantis descended through the atmosphere and was able to see Atlantis' plasma trail through the cupola windows of the International Space Station. less than 15 minutes before touchdown. Atlantis moving just to the east of the Yucatan Peninsula, about a minute and a half away from acquiring communications to the Merritt Island tracking station near the Kennedy Space Center. The International Space Station will be passing directly over the Cape just 9 minutes before Atlantis' touchdown and should be visible in a clear sky this morning. Atlantis about to pass across the Gulf of Mexico, traveling 14 times the speed of sound, now 700 miles from the Kennedy Space Center, 34 miles in altitude, descending at a rate of 126 feet per second. C-band radar tracking now acquired through the Merritt Island tracking station near the Kennedy Space Center. Atlantis just 450 miles from its destination, 31 miles in altitude, traveling 10 times the speed of sound, nearing the southwest coast of Florida.
Atlantis, we show you on energy, on ground track, your nav is go. We show you touching down 2,200 feet at 205 knots, and you should see 19% on the speed brake.
Okay, we can go, approach at 19% on the speed brake.
The flight dynamics officer here in Mission Control reports Atlantis is perfectly targeted for the Kennedy Space Center. Time to touchdown 11 minutes. Everything looking very good on board the orbiter.
Atlantis, take TACANs, take GPS.
The TACANs are the Tactical Air Navigation Aids. 3 redundant units aboard the orbiter receiving data of range, elevation, and bearing from radio beacons at the landing site. Atlantis about to cross the coast near Naples, Florida, 10 minutes to touchdown. 260 miles from the landing site at the Kennedy Space Center.
Beautiful view of the Yucatan, I think, going right under the wing right now. It's a gorgeous thing for evening.
You're looking good to us, Atlantis. You're just passing the west coast of Florida.
Oh, okay. Further than I thought we were. Get a little bit of an echo.
This track will carry Atlantis just to the west of Lake Okeechobee, 24 miles in altitude, 200 miles to the Kennedy Space Center. Now traveling less than 6 times the speed of sound. Descending at a rate of 200 feet per second. Time to touchdown 9 minutes, 14 seconds. The air data probes have been deployed. These are probes on either side of Atlantis' nose that provide pressure, altitude, airspeed, Mach numbers, angle of attack, and rate of descent information for the general purpose computers. Time to touchdown 8 minutes. Atlantis traveling 4 times the speed of sound.
Atlantis, take air data.
Take air data.
Six and a half minutes from touchdown. The International Space Station just passed directly over the Kennedy Space Center in advance of Atlantis' landing. Atlantis currently traveling 2.5 times the speed of sound, range to touchdown just 69 miles.
Atlantis, on energy approaching the hack. No changes to winds or weather. Nominal shoot.
That change the winds and weather, nominal shoot.
Now looking over the shoulder of pilot Doug Hurley on the flight deck of Atlantis, this pilot point of view camera. 5 minutes till touchdown. Atlantis soon will be going subsonic. Our first view through infrared cameras at the Kennedy Space Center. Commander Chris Ferguson now flying Atlantis. 3.5 minutes until touchdown. Piercing the pre-dawn sky as the space shuttle announces its arrival at the launch site with its signature sound of twin sonic booms having gone subsonic for the last time.
Atlantis, on at the 180.
Beyond at the 180.
Pilot Doug Hurley now taking a few seconds of stick time on Atlantis. With a fitting elegance for its final moments of flight, Atlantis takes one last lap around the Kennedy Space Center.
Atlantis, on at the 90.
On the 90.
Commander Chris Ferguson now back on the stick. Atlantis descending at an angle 7 times steeper than that of a commercial jetliner.
Copy, Atlantis, build inside.
As it approaches the runway, Commander Chris Ferguson will flare up Atlantis' nose to burn off excess speed prior to the landing gear deployment by pilot Doug Hurley. Once again, the view from the pilot point of view camera, 1 minute till touchdown. The pre-flare maneuver executed. Landing gear down and locked. Main gear touchdown. Hurley now deploying the drag chute. Ferguson rotating the nose gear down to the deck. Nose gear touchdown. Having fired the imagination of a generation, a ship like no other, its place in history secured, the space shuttle pulls into port for the last time. Its voyage at an end.
Mission complete, Houston.
We copy your will stop, and we'll take this opportunity to congratulate you, Atlantis, as well as the thousands of passionate individuals across this great spacefaring nation who truly empower this incredible spacecraft, which for 3 decades has inspired millions around the globe. Job well done, America.
Hey, thanks, Butch. Great words. Great words. You know, space shuttle's changed the way we view the world, and it's changed the way we view our universe. There's a lot of emotion today, but one thing's indisputable. America's not going to stop exploring. Thank you, Columbia, Challenger, Discovery, Endeavour, and our ship Atlantis. Thank you for protecting us and bringing this program to such a fitting end. God bless all of you. God bless the United States of America.
Inspiring comments, Atlantis. We'll meet you on 5-3.
We'll see you there, Butch.
And on 5-8, we will take rad reconfig.
Okay, I understand what rad reconfig at this time.
That's affirmative.
Atlantis is home. Its journey complete. A moment in history to be savored.
Atlantis, when you get there, NH3 activation will be B SECON.
As Atlantis
Yep, well, we'll be ready for that when you get above 55.
Okay, very good. If you give us a call, we're going to go back and start on 5-3.
We'll do it.
As you can see, the normal venting of the auxiliary power units on Atlantis. The convoy team will be around the vehicle before long, and mission control here under the direction of Entry Flight Director Tony Sakachi will give the crew a green light to shut down the auxiliary power units for the very final time.
Hey, Convoy Commander, this is Atlantis. Hey, Tim O'Brien, it's great to be home, and it's awesome to hear your voice. Copy.
Atlantis, we're ready for ammonia activation on 5-8.
Ammonia act on 5-8, here we go.
All right, and just to confirm, B SECON.
B-SEC-ON, thanks.
Mission Control, Houston.
Ready and watching, Chunky.
Okay, they're coming up.
The external tank umbilical doors are currently being opened. Space Shuttle main engines being repositioned, part of the initial safing process for Atlantis. Atlantis, with its landing 7.5 minutes ago, wrapping up its 33rd and final mission over a 26-year career. On this flight, it logged 5,284,862 miles in service to the International Space Station. For 33 flights, Atlantis traveled 125,935,769 miles in 307 days in orbit, circumnavigating the globe 4,848 times.